game. So they'll be looking for the consolation third point, but it's just that, a cold consolation prize.
Yeah, this time around they do have the priority pick, so we'll see if they're able to get Condi on one of his two, again, I say it's statistically relevant champions, which is the Gragas and the Rek'Sai. We notice how unlimited potential, kind of speaking to the strength of the draft phase, they had the Wombo combo of denying the Gragas, then first picking the Rek'Sai. This time around, Masters 3 have the option to put him on one of those champions. I doubt that UP will ban both Gragas and Rek'Sai.
We'll have to see. See what happens in the draft now as M3 do step over to that blue side. Echo Alistar, their first two bans, as Sivir Gragas actually the first two for UP. So you mentioned that Rek'Sai ban away. Definitely don't expect M3 to ban it. So what do UP want to set up for? Do they want a power pick or two power picks in exchange to give up that Rek'Sai? Or do they want to go crazy and just ban Rek'Sai?
I would say that they want to open it up and take two power pick rotations. I would assume Victor would be one of them. That is because Masters 3, either they have to first pick for Condi to make sure that he gets on one of those champions, or if they prioritize taking away someone like Victor, who is a very heavily contested pick, then it just immediately opens up second rotation for UP to take that away anyway.
Yep, and Kalista is the last ban for M3, respecting the power of the champion, but don't want to give it over to SMLZ necessarily, at least as a first pick, because like you said, they're probably lining it up for Condi here. UP considering their last ban here. We talked about it, they've got a lot of options. Ryze would be the obvious choice, and that's what they go for.
Okay, so we'll see what Masters 3 connect to. Where are they going to send their priority? It is going to be Condi.
I think you have to. We saw this from UP in the last draft. They first picked Rek'Sai for Amy. More than happy to do so for Condi here on Master 3. And Condi was a big force in that game, despite being on a champion like Lee Sin. What can he do now with Rek'Sai as a much more standard jungler?
A lot better of a comfort pick. Lee Sin is one of his most played champions, but again, his win-loss record is pretty abysmal.
I mean, he still does work on it. We saw that yesterday, but you're right. It's just not the same. Lee Sin in general
doesn't have the same impact as someone like Rek'Sai or
sort of
Gragas
fallen
will
off,
have.
right? As UP might be considering the Janna again. I loved Heart's Janna in game number 1. But Amy, he's definitely thinking aggression. He's hovered through Evelynn. I saw a Jarvan briefly in there as well. But it's going to be Janna and Nidalee there for the first two.
But even with these first two initial picks, yes, it goes back to Amy and his aggression in the jungle, but it's just about sieging towers, making macro movements on the map. You've got so much speed, so much mobility, so many spears, and then the steroid from the Primal Surge, as well as the steroid from the Eye of the Shield. Excuse me, Eye of the Storm. Eye of the Shield.
Eye of the Shield. That's pretty much right. As M3 now considering what they want as their next two picks. 12 seconds left means they're running out of time. Dade, love this pick away. Takes the Victor off from Punished. And Nautilus here as well. Flex there for Love City or Lupo.
So again, they're setting themselves up for a massive 5v5. They didn't get that many 5v5s last game. We'll see if they put themselves in a situation. Again, Rek'Sai has more consistency than Lee Sin does. Obviously, it's much harder to be a hard engaged champion off of a Insec versus just a flash unburrow.
So, Condi does need to make an impact. Can he do so in this game? Especially with limited potential, looking to change things up quite a lot. Amy on the Nidalee is already fairly different from his Rek'Sai, although we do expect him to still be playing aggressively. I like the Janna from Heart, but they're going to go in a different direction this time. Sketch. We'll be looking back to the Lucian, so that lane was solid, does a lot of what UP wanted to do, but Punished goes into the Victor with a Kassadin. He wants to be the late game carry.
We see this a lot. Godfrey, I think, started this one out taking Kassadin into Victor. Kassadin has a lot of tools on his kit, particularly his shield, so he can get through the lane phase rather well. There's not a ton of kill pressure on Victor. That was an insta-lock on a Twitch.
Yeah, SMLZ thought about that for about 2 seconds and said, give me the Twitch, and that's what he's gotten. This is a classic LPL champion, but Twitch's success this year not been so good.
I think he's only been picked twice so far. Once by Imp.
Imp's played it once or twice. I'm trying to think. He has a win or two, does the old Twitch, at least in this particular split. Lupa getting Gnar, though, I think that's a nice choice. I do like it a bit more than his Hecarim, but M3, definitely a wild card here with the SMLZ Twitch. You said it already, M3 looking for team fight. They have team fight everywhere in this comp.
It is all written on top of that. The Venn diagram, Wombo combo, spray and pray through corridors. It's about how they're going to use terrain. And again, last game, they had the opportunity to do that, but they couldn't force UP to fight them when they were, you know, on equal footing. And then by the time that UP were ready to fight, they were just too far ahead. So can they pull the trigger? Can Condi lead them to victory?
And again, we saw the kind of neutral early game just leading to not the mid-game M3 wanted. That's where they've looked strongest. Can they get ahead here? As long considered Aurelia, but is going to take Maokai instead. Wants to make sure to match a bit of this threat that M3 are offering, because they know at some point they will have to fight Master 3.
And you're absolutely right. It's really the Vengeful Maelstrom that's coming in here, and as an answer to the massive AoE stack that Masters 3 have assembled on their composition.
And it is a massive AoE stack. Nah, Victor, Twitch, Nautilus, even Rek'Sai can get in there and add some additional CC. So Master 3, they have kind of one plan that we've seen. It's good. It's team fighting, but unlimited potential. This comp's very different to the last one, so given how strong their style was in game 1, I'm curious to see how they play this comp.
The question will be, can Amy be as aggressive and as forward in Rek'Sai's jungle as Lee Sin, especially because her laners aren't the strongest this time around. So the real reason why Amy was able to walk in and kind of abuse Condi was because his laners would constantly have the push forward. With Kassadin against Victor, you're not going to get that.
No, and Punished is going to have to take a couple of hits here in the mid lane. Dade should have the initiative there in that one. SMLZ on the Twitch, so this is a laner that just, I don't know, I can't think of a single lane Twitch wins currently. He's such a hard 80 carry to lane with.
We'll see if they look for the lane swap in that scenario and unlock Love CD to kind of roam around the map and utilize his Nautilus. Obviously, he's not going to be super proficient in a 2v1, but we'll see.
I guess we're going to find out soon. Let's get onto the rift for game number 2. And welcome back for SMLZ and his Twitch here in game number 2. Master 3 digging deep into the champion pool barrel here to try and pull out a win and at least secure themselves 3 points, but unlimited potential, poised to get the maximum amount of points from their schedule. If they can take this game, it has really been their weekend. I think, honestly, it might have already been their weekend.
One of the first teams, too. I mean, think of how many splits we've had for UP to come out in 2-0 both of their sets. This is, okay, so we talked about the lane swap. Let's quickly kind of cover what's going on here. Oh, except SMLZ was, oh, that was brilliant. SMLZ has now been spotted out by a sapling there, so they do know that the lane swap is happening, but they were trying to fake them out. By having Love CD show on the bottom side of the map as Nautilus, they would assume that the AD carry is also with the support and understand that the 2v2 is going into the bottom side, and then have Love CD back into Fog of War and rotate back up to SMLZ. But that single sapling from Long completely ruins everything.
Yeah, Dade actually, again, warding is relatively forward in his jungle, but finds Heart rotating through their red side of the map. Will hit a bit of damage down, but again, trying to make sure the entrances are covered and look for that lane swap. Might have got it this time. Amy's going to get forced away by Condi, Lupa, and Dade, and I like what SMO is doing. He knows he needs the swap. He's going straight to the mid lane.
Yep, and he's going to the mid lane because this way he can just wait until someone shows up on that ward that he plays forward into the top side of the lane. As soon as he sees Heart and Scatch, he has the shortest distance where he can go, am I going top because they guessed my lane swap, or am I going bottom because I want to get away from them?
Seem to have an idea of what the swap is going to be, though. Now heading to the bottom side of the map, will get the swap that they wanted. Limited potential did go top, and SMLZ will get the 2v1 or 1v0 that he wanted. Either way, Twitch can't really get through lane without it, so they are going to get the swap they need.
That said, there's a lot more options for Scatch and Heart. They can decide if they want to freeze this one out and let Heart roam around, or they can decide if they want to fast push it. Janna's going to mean much more in a 2v1 swap in terms of taking down towers than Nautilus will. Nautilus has great control over the creep wave with his Riptide, but you just can't compete with the double tap passive of Lucian on top of the Eye of the Storm.
No. I mean,
shield from Janna.
Yeah, Lucian already pretty good at taking towers. Janna going to make that even better, as right now it feels like Sketch is freezing that wave just based on the minimap positioning, but the mid lane might be where we really have to look here, as Dade does hit an early level 2 and goes for that quick laser onto Punish, doesn't quite get it. But this should be a matchup that Dade a bit more comfortable in, even though Punish has taken his counter pick, probably expecting to take a beating in the first few levels.
I'm curious what Dade is going to look for in terms of his evolution points and how he's going to use it to trade with Victor. He could augment his Q and look for the shield movement speed to try to trade or out-trade Kassadin's shield that he's going to get for his Q, or if he's going to put it back into his laser and then just focus on pushing Kassadin in and trying to find side roams.
Well, right now, Dade keeping it nice and even in the mid lane. Punish keeping up in CS, but Dade does have a slight lead there. Looks like Long and Heart might have been spotted by Condi and Love City in his Nautilus here. Malco did teleport to the bottom lane to collect the CS, but looks like M3 were trying to line up a tower dive.
And that was why UP decided to send Heart back early about that 2-minute mark. He decided to back and go all the way back down.
Oh, Amy lands a spear onto Condi. Going to force him off the blue buff here. Condi wanted to steal it. He actually already got his red buff. I believe lost his blue as Long's going to find Love CD. Level 3 for the Malco. Going to get the sapling down and the Twisted Advance. Condi forced to come back in as SMLZ is trying to do enough damage. Amy, though, so strong with double buffs at level 2 on Nidalee. That's going to force Condi to flash. M3, that went sideways quickly.
Love City's eyes flashed, or life flashed before his eyes right there. The spear just missed max range that would have given the mark for Amy to look for the kill there, but everyone makes it out with their life. But more importantly, Amy secures his blue buff, says, hey, I think I've seen this before.
Yeah, he has. He's the one that's taking all the buffs, though, in game number 1. We're going to continue the trend here in this second game. Looper in the top side. It would have lain reasonably well against Scatch, but that's going to give Lucian the free time. And SMLZ, he's getting pressured here by the Maokai and the Jano, because they've actually bothered to kind of stitch together a weird duo lane.
Well, you have to think he's going to Twisted Advance on top of SMLZ, especially if he has control of the wave like this, where you're competing with much more minions. And then he's just going to shield him and just pretty much out-trade him.
Yeah, and speaking about trading, punishing his Crystalline Flask, they've been able to do just that here against Dade. They're pretty similar on health, but Punish is getting the edge, mostly due to having a bit more regen. Dade almost out of mana in this situation. Punish going to keep getting mana back as well from his W and the Crystalline Flask charge. And Dade, who you think would have the initiative here on the lane as Victor, actually falling behind in CS ever so slightly against Punished.
And it was, like you said, a great adaptation. Not really an adaptation, fairly standard to take the Crystalline Flask and to just kind of outlast Dade's mana pool.
I think in general, outlasting Victor's probably a good strategy for your lane. As SMLZ and Love City do team up nicely to get quite a few creeps, actually. The Relic Shield helping out nicely there from the Nautilus. Twitch does need his farm. He's secured 35 so far, so not too bad as things go along. But even though the game's even, it feels like UP are the ones dictating the pace of the game again.
Being very proactive. That said, Condi is looking for a possible gank on the pre-level 6 Kassadin. Has a good angle.
Flash here as well, though. Dade's low on mana. I don't know if they have enough damage to get through Kassadin, especially with 2 points in the Null Sphere. They are going to try it. Love City is going to come in as well, but Amy smells something. He's going to come in. The gravity field down is going to get him. Umbaro just in time, and Punish has to get out late, but Amy's going to dive back in. Forces Condi away. Dade wants to kill. Love City's here as well. Looks for the hook. He's just short onto Amy. And they're going to go back in if they can help it. Looper joining down in as well. It's 4v3 right now in the mid lane. But everybody backs away and Punish gets out safely.
If Love City hadn't been there for the counter gank, that would have spelled disaster for Masters 3. So great job making sure that all of their resources were in the mid lane and ready for that.
But Looper might start falling a bit behind on CS now. Punished. Got low in the exchange, but able to keep safe. Is out of flask charges though, so does have to be careful. Heart in the meantime. Caught out by Looper here, who's going to get the hyper proc. Amy's going to join in. He misses the spear though, and that's going to spell the end of that gank.
Yeah, Nidalee not quite effective if you don't hit the spears.
As it turns out, no. But I like what Amy's doing. He's not going overly aggressive. He's still applying pressure, but it's smart pressure. It's not reckless. And even looking for the blue buff timer right here, Love City walks in and wards it. He knows what Amy wants.
And they're able to do this because, again, Condi got so low in the initial exchange. He was the big target that they were looking on taking down for the first blood. So knowing that Rek'Sai is weak, they immediately translate that pressure. You know, we didn't get the first blood, but we can get some deep wards.
Well, spear lands onto Dade. Amy doesn't have quite enough damage for the assassination, though. The good news for M3 is that SMLZ on the Twitch is getting a nice free farm lane 1v1 against the Maokai. Jungler presence is threatening, but Long himself right now not so much. So the free farm, it's needed onto Twitch. He'll look for the early Blade of the Ruin King, and SMLZ is honestly the one. Come mid-game, he has to make an impact on this pick.
And it's all about that Blade of the Ruin King. It opens up so much assassination potential for Twitch, and that's when things start to get really scary if you are a fragile mage or a fragile AD carry player, because once he has that, you can't be on the map by yourself, otherwise SMLZ will be able to stealth up to you and effectively outduel you.
Even potential jungle pressure there as well. There's a lot going on for this pick as Looper Meganaz into the top side, hits level 6. He's only got a Doran's Blade now, looking for that first back relatively soon as he shoves out the wave with all the AoE. Might even ult the creep wave, but probably doesn't need to.
No, but you are correct that he's just trying to push this as quickly as possible so he can find his back. See what he's going to itemize first, if he's going to prioritize for his lane with possibly a Hex Drink, or if he's going to itemize for the resistances on the team fight.
Important to note that Long has actually swapped back to the top side as well. Double Doran's Ruby Crystal there for Maokai.
The sustain.
Yep, lots of sustain. Good early stats. I'm going to work on Catalyst, probably for that Righteous Glorious Looper, considering it does actually go for the lane choice of the Hex Drinker.
Okay. Which is fine because he's now back into the 1v1, so he's not going to be punished there. We'll see if he's able to put the pressure onto Long and possibly get a TP advantage. But both teams are starting to set their control back around this Dragon Pit, so expect to see some explosive gameplay go down. I have a theory that either Amy or Condi are going to look for an invade, and it's going to translate into a TP, and we may see a 4v4 relatively soon.
Dade actually trying to trade there. Gets a decent trade down onto Punish, but has skilled up has evolved, that E, so the Death Ray able to clear out waves nice and efficiently. Has an Amp Tome there as well, working on what's most likely that Morellonomicon. But still that positioning around the Dragon. SMLZ, I think this is his real test, to be honest. Like, he's got a CS lead, he's gone back, he's got his Bilgewater, he's got a Dagger. If he can't hold the lane from this point, he did need to go back now. Things could get dicey as Amy's here in the top side as well. Looper about to hit Meganar. They might wait it out, but he hops away instead. Looper with his ulti means this is almost impossible to chase away. But Victor in the mid gets first blood with the help of Condi.
And Condi's able to commit to that because they do see that Amy was tied up into the top lane. So great response from Pressure, and Masters 3 finally being proactive.
Yeah, get that first blood. We talk about Condi really setting pace for his team and setting things up. Giving Dade a nice break in the mid lane is going to really help.
And with that, the advantage in the mid lane as well as the bottom lane shove forward, they're able to immediately translate that into a free dragon.
Well, we'll see how free it is here. They've gotten that kill. They're going to move in. We'll be able to get the dragon by the looks of things. Amy far too out of position. And Long does have his teleport, but Looper's going to keep him tied up. And there you go. First dragon does go to Master 3.
And Amy's frankly looked very uncomfortable on this Nidalee pick, not connecting with his skill shots. And again, I mean, it sounds fairly obvious. If you miss your skill shots, you half your damage output.
Yeah, probably more, to be honest. But a lot of it, certainly, as Dade is just happily free farming these waves out. Punished, falling behind about 20 CS, so they will catch up as he clears this wave out. Cassidy, things will get better. He's got a Catalyst now, got his Flask, so very defensive in his early itemization. And Dade, a blessing, finally, didn't get it really in game one, gets himself his own blue buff.
Wow.
It's sad
That's his second blue buff for the series?
Yes, actually. But, hey, we'll see how many more he gets. Again, not a joke. Yubi did a great job controlling the blue buff there in game number one. So Dade actually getting the first means they've had a much better run in this early game.
But they're not being able to translate into the same sort of dragon, or excuse me, jungle control with this Nidalee pick. So we talked about how, yeah, the Nidalee pick fits into Amy's MO as a player, still offering him a lot of aggression. He has the high mobility and invade potential. But Rek'Sai, you know, why is Rek'Sai kind of the top tier pick? Like, Gragas is considered the stronger jungler just because he offers more hard engage, disengage, tankiness, just more free stats for his team. But Rek'Sai really fits with kind of the mentality of a lot of the LPL junglers, just because how she invades with her Tremor Sense. And Amy just, he hasn't made an impact on this Nidalee. I hate to say it, but until he starts, you know, landing his skill shots, he's yeah,
I mean, farming up now, got his tier, working on the Magus. You have to assume Scout uses his ulti on the bottom side though. SMLZ pops in an ambush ever so briefly, and we'll get the health back with the help of his Vampiric Scepter. Has done nicely in this lane, just keeping up. 10 CS ahead still, just staying safe as a Twitch is always tricky, and you can see why a Scout just goes all in. Might get Love City actually in the exchange. Cues himself off to a tower, now going to run in hard, tries to make the big play, uses the Ignite, teleports down now as well, and there's the rat-a-tat-tat popped onto Sketch. Looper pumps him into the wall, and that's going to be kill number one. Long locked up again as SMLZ ambushes his way back through, but he might be a little bit too much. Will go down there to the Maokai. Shield and the Monsoon almost enough to save him, but they'll get the regrab, take him out. Condi's down here, Dade's joining in, and UP have to run.
And Looper gets a fantastic teleport off before Long responds to it, is able to pick up the first blood, so great response time from Looper. Fortunately for Long, though, he managed to trade 1-for-1 in his own death on SMLZ.
But the Blood of the Ruin King has been completed now for Twitch, so can look for those assassinations, sneak into the lane with the ambush, and try and affect more of the map. Now, M3 feels like it's been a fairly good early game for them. They're up 1,500 gold. They've gotten the first dragon. They've got 3 kills. But this is their point. 12 and a half, almost 13 minutes in. Twitch ready to go. Dade getting stronger. They need to start snowballing the game from this point.
And this is the difference between Condi playing either Gragas or Rek'Sai versus his Lee Sin. Lee Sin, one of his most played champions, but cannot impact the game to the same degree. Unlimited Potential, we saw them in the first game take special attention to deny these picks from him, but
yeah, now Amy's getting caught out in his own jungle here by Condi as Long and Punish actually collapse. This might be too much, but Dade is swooping in. He'll do massive damage if he's allowed to set up in the fight. Hart, though, has a good tornado charge and gets Dade as Love City does get taken out. Damage is massive. Amy's going to get killed by the Death Ray. Punish will join in now as well. Dade going in 2v4 basically as SMLZ is going to come in to play cleanup. Long gets chunked out as Dade gets a triple kill.
And like you said, if Victor's given time to set up in these small choke points, his massive AoE damage and just control over the fight was disgusting there. Has the upgraded Hex Core, he'll certainly put another point into it. But Dade, we talked about where Masters 3, where they're strong. It's in these small skirmishes and these 5v5s, which is why the mid-game typically takes off for them.
And there's Abyssal Scepter now for Dade, as Scatch forces Looper out with the culling. He'll go back, doesn't have his teleport, so might lose some damage onto this turret in the top side, but Dragon back in a minute 50. Dade skipping the Morellonomicon for now. Had the Negatron cloak for jungle pressure and lane, but it's just gone straight for Abyssal now.
Yeah, actually kind of curious. We talked about how I suspected that he would look for the next upgrade on his Hex core, but like you said, instead going for the defense against Amy and Punished.
Abyssal, yeah.
It's a great item.
It's also an offensive item.
It also works really well for Dade. Yeah, it gives him offense because obviously you get the penetration.
Oh, Long actually getting dove in there. Knocked up there by the depth shot. Going to get CC'd down. SMLZ coming in with the damage. Tower falls, but Maokai does as well. M3 going to work on the tier 2 in bottom lane.
Masters 3 are getting skirmishes. They're getting 5v5s. It's not just this macro movement we talked about. Yeah, they've got a full 5v5 composition, but will they be able to force Unlimited Potential to fight them because they couldn't get that last game?
Look at Dade. He has no cares in the world. Post-checking spears, clearing out creeps, forcing Punished away from his turret.
He's doing this with no boots.
Dade really hates boots. He's not a fan, from what I can tell.
His builds are always very interesting. So we talked about how the Abyssal Scepter is very much a Dade thing. If you think back to his Cassiopeia, how he builds Rylai second, he's much more about staying alive as long as possible to impact a team fight for as long as possible.
Exactly.
So he'll always err on the side of defense versus just straight raw offense.
Boots don't let you survive. Whatever, man. I don't need movement speed. Just take more damage to the face. No worries. No, I think it is interesting how Dade builds. For me, it almost feels like he builds because he knows he's going to get camped, and it just also suits his play style.
See where they go from here. Dragon will be spawning in 15 seconds. Masters 3 are finally on top of an objective where they can start placing down their vision and look for picks.
And I like what Twitch is doing here as well, going for that Ghostblade second. The purple build there coming through for Twitch. Just wants all mid-game power.
No surprises there. Other big kind of builds coming out are going to be the Magus Enchantment, but hold on.
Amy getting caught. Oh my
wow.
god, that damage from Dade.
Deleted.
Yeah, Nidalee gets destroyed there as Love CD actually collects the last hit there on that one. Jungler dead, Spear's not really there, Poke not a thing right now, and that's going to be Dragon number 2 to Master 3.
Just dropped the Chaos Storm and removed Nidalee from the map. That was absurd amounts of damage. I was just about to point out Amy's build, you know, looking for that late game poke-oriented Nidalee versus a more tanky frontline.
And right now M3 still in complete control. You can see the vision actually on this side of the map. They've got a pink straight in front of the Dragon Pit. They've got blue wards littered throughout the right-hand side of the map. It's M3 that are honestly playing like UP did around the first early Dragons, and there it is, Dragon number 2.
We'll see how UP get a foot back into this game. I feel like they need to commit to one of these, I was going to say they should probably commit to the bottom lane, but SMLZ and Love CD doing a great job realizing that they were going to get flanked on and immediately pushing forward and then resetting the map.
And it's UP that now find themselves in the position that Master 3 were in for most of last game here. 5,000 gold up are M3. UP just trying to fight vision out. I do like the pink wards here, making sure to clear out some of the vision and open up more space, but especially when that last outer tower falls down on the top side. Looper is working on it by the looks of things. Map's going to start to open up pretty soon. Looper, again, going for the tower, going to get good damage down.
And this is a problem with a Kassadin and Maokai side lane. So what was the big success for Unlimited Potential in the first game is the fact that Amy could just walk into the enemy jungle, but he would always have pressure and support, either Heart literally following around from him or his solo laners having a push and walking in.
SMLZ tower diving now. Depth charge down. Looper's here as well. 3v1. Long can't live at all as Love City gets another kill for himself. SMLZ, he's just been in every lane ambushing.
They should have expected this. It's the last standing outer tower available, so naturally they've moved their resources there. Looper now trying to save.
What's the ulti? Finds it onto Sketch. Gets the tower aggro as well. Now going to dive back in, looking for the 1v2. Amy going to make it unfair now. 1v3 flashes out from under the pounce. Gets the wallop as Condi's here. Maybe in time to save him, but Amy manages to pick him up. Dade's coming down though. Condi's still chasing in. And Unlimited Potential, wrong side of the map. Flash Unborrow onto 3. Sketch going to get low. Condi chunking him out, but the damage is still good. Condi will not die. Dade pops the Chaos Storm to take out Lucian, and Condi is still alive. Twitch taking turrets in the top side while Dade and Condi wreck face 2v3 in the bottom lane. Dade so strong right now, and SMLZ is not done. He's taken 2 towers. He's going to look for a third.
And I was going to say, meanwhile, all of these resources on the bottom side of the map, SMLZ and Love CD are just shredding through that inhibitor tower.
And it's dead. Punish can't get there in time. SMLZ doing enough there with 3 points in the ambush and a bit of help from Love CD. 5 towers to 2 now, as that little exchange puts UP firmly in a deficit in this game. It was looking okay, they were down in gold, but maybe they could salvage something. All of a sudden, top side of the map, their base is broken wide open.
Where was this Masters 3 last game?
I feel like I say that every time I see M3 play well. Like, honestly, at the start of the season, they started winning. I was like, oh, where was this M3 last season? Like, very inconsistent as the team goes. I think how many splits they're looking to get this weekend might just be an indicator of that.
No, I completely agree. It's just the night and day difference. And again, I have to... Dade's having a great performance. Looper is having a fantastic performance. We expect this of them. It's very hit or miss. Extreme highs, kind of mediocre lows. But Condi,
yep.
Rek'Sai and Gragas, if he doesn't get one of those 2 champions, Masters 3 fall apart.
He's gotten Rek'Sai. 8 out of 11 kill participations. Aegis already built up. Sightstone, Cinderhawk looking good. SMLZ on the Twitch again. Serviceable pick. It does suit the way they like to play with a nice aggressive mid game, and he's taken that almost to the extreme here with the Ghostblade now finished as well. He was already ambushing people in sidelines. It's only getting worse for Unlimited Potential.
Which is why we see him kind of heading up into that mid lane. We'll see if he stealths as soon as he's about medium range down there. They're doing a good job also setting up their wards fairly deep into the lanes themselves to offer more space for him to look for those assassinations.
Yeah, again, you look on the left side of the map, M3 playing towards Baron with Dragon down. There are like 8 wards on that side of the map, and 8 green wards. There's a couple pink wards in the neutral spot as well, but just looking at the wards that M3 have, they have lit up UP's left side of the jungle.
See how UP respond to this. They're trying to organize themselves in position to defend their inhibitor.
Well, M3 going to still run in. You have to think that's what they want as their next objective, but Unlimited Potential, knowing this, are training to that side of the map. But pretty significantly behind in gold or Unlimited Potential. I don't know if they can take this 5v5 that M3 are about to force them into.
Big ultimates are going to be the depth charge, as well as how long... Oh, wow, Long just got shredded.
Just takes too much damage. It's M3 are just too strong at this point. They're going to get the knock up. Long almost going to go down just to a couple of basic abilities. Get slow there, Ignited with the poison may fall, but that's enough to pressure them onto the turret. Long will live, but M3 are going to get what they want. It's that inhibitor.
Still whittling away. We'll see if UP look for a counter engage.
I feel like Heart's looking for a Janna flank. Finds a tornado.
Is that a thing?
It is. I've seen Marta play Janna. It is a thing.
the Janna flank where he tornadoes them, then flash monsoons.
That's it. No flash, so make it tricky. M3 going to fight. Looper almost right on Meganar. Dreadflame, sorry. Little low there for Punish. She's forced to flash out from it. Unlimited Potential looking again. They could find some exit kills, but M3 are just too strong. Baron's up, Dragon up in 55 seconds or so.
Likewise, they need to respond to that massive wave into the bottom side.
Oh, Condi back. That was important.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was no reason for Masters 3 to stay for kind of the second engagement of that fight, especially because Long had already healed and gotten himself back into position. The Maokai hard engage, obviously something that was very concerning, because they had already gotten the inhibitor.
Yep.
Might as well just leave.
And now Rek'Sai going to go bottom lane, push out that big side wave and threaten towards the Baron side with Void Rush still available. Condi again, just such a different game here, looking good on the Rek'Sai with all these kill participations. And again, M3's carry is completely unlocked as a result of their jungler. Looper and Dade having a fun old time. Dade in particular, 5-0-1 with 2 big items done already and some Hex Core upgrades. And he's finally gotten himself boots on. Realized that maybe he needs to go just a tad faster.
And really, it's Dade getting involved with his team on those early skirmishes on blue side jungle. And again, going back to kind of the stats of Masters 3, Dade has the lowest kill participation of any of the mid laners, which you think is fairly curious that he should get out of the lane phase. He should be involved earlier into these big skirmishes and team fights, because that's what Dade's good at.
Yeah, by the looks of things, he certainly looked good at it this game here, as M3 still find themselves up 7,000 gold, looking to make it more as they'll take another dragon. Looking for their third here, shutting out UP of the objective so far. Just need to push those side waves a little bit more. Top lane will get taken care of it by itself. And now they're picking bottom side. SMLZ knows exactly what he wants.
We'll see if UP decide to commit to the bottom side to try to stall out that tower, or even possibly look for a sneaky desperation Baron, although it looks like they're going to commit to the tower. It's difficult because the Void Rush is still available.
Yeah, Loop has his teleport as well. There's quite a lot of mobility. Even Twitch is reasonably fast as he ambushes between lanes, so going to be tricky here for UP. They're pretty much relegated to buying time and trying to scale up.
Nope, completely agree. The Coaling being burned out here just to buy some more time for this tower, but too little too late.
The other power of Victor. Gravity Field, an excellent spell in a seed as Dade playing quite far forward there. apparently trying to ult somebody.
Looper doing a good job, though, prepping the middle wave, so this is going to be a nice and easy, quick rotation back to the mid side.
Yep, they're going to get on top of it. Love City even going to get the first few hits in with the anchor. Not quite enough. Hart goes in. Massive ulti. Long dives in onto SMLZ. Punish trying to find it as well. SMLZ getting low, but Dade going to blow them to pieces with the Death Ray and the Chaos Storm. He gets a double. Looper's going forward. They'll take the tower. They killed Twitch, but they lost 3.
And Unlimited Potential, that was really the only option that they had there. They couldn't afford to just sit around and watch the super creep wave march into the top side of their base. Hart was trying to isolate and split the team up. Unfortunately, his Janna is fantastic, but it's not the same thing as an Annie or a Nautilus, and instead he just kind of blows them all sideways, and Dade just runs through UP.
And sets up for Long to get in, but they just don't have enough damage, and Maokai's not nearly tanky enough to fight off Dade, let alone SMLZ, who was fighting for his life towards the end of it. 2 Inhib's going to go down Condi.
Oh, here comes a teleport flank.
Aggressively, Dade jumps in looking for the Death Ray, does not find it, but Long's around the backside. SMLZ's in base. Who can they catch here? Might be Long, actually, that's now caught up. Looper does have his ultimate. He uses it. Gets 2 there, Long and hard into the wall, but Looper now, Minina has to keep fighting in. Nautilus taking too much damage. Will fall, but Dade, no, Looper gets the trade in onto Maokai. Now Punish going to go down. That'll be Dade's kill. And M3 in complete control this game.
That almost looked like a good fight for UP. The problem is that unless they kill Dade, they will lose the team fight. He is massive at this point.
Yep, 8-0-3. Has a lot of gold to go spend. 2 inhibitors down, M3 with SMLZ at full health and an extra BF sword. Going to happily take away this Baron. They have done a lot of work to earn it, and they will take it away for themselves.
And with 2 inhibs down as well as the Baron, that's going to be an easy reset on the map. Look towards that bottom side, push down one last inhibitor. Oh, hold on.
Looper going back in again, doesn't have his ulti, but he'll chase out Amy, finds the boulder toss for the slow. Not going to go back in though, gets the reset on the pickup as Sketch dying to super creeps at this stage. Needs help there from Long as Hart looks to be caught out of position. He's trying to juke out of the wallet, Baron up creeps, so he's just going to hit him in the face. The boulder toss will miss. Dade will not though. Gets himself his 9th kill of the game.
Scumbag Dade kills his old buddy.
Yeah.
Samsung Blue versus Samsung Blue.
Well, if Dade wasn't terrifying enough, he's got boots to finish his perfect hex scoring and a need to see Ladrod just for fun there. Dade already doing monstrous amount of damage. I don't know what comes after that, but Dade, UP just doesn't want anything to do with him. M3 found themselves 12,000 plus gold ahead. And M3 and SMLZ and Love City just casually taking a top in him.
I feel like Dade does his best Uzi impression where they lose the first game and then he just gets mad.
Yeah, I think so here. I mean, they're trying to fight it out. 3v5 right now is not bad. Hart will join himself back in. SMLZ ambushing, trying to set up for the ulti. Goes in onto Long for a bit of damage. Tornado's good. Long immediately jumps onto SMLZ. Looper gets the ulti on the 3, but it's not quite enough. Now he's going to take the damage, but Dade going to rock his way in. Amy almost getting blown up, and an instant punish almost befalls the same fate. Hart going to go down. Dade is just chasing them down, and that'll be a 4 for 2 team fight. Make it an ace as Dade smashes out the Chaos Storm.
That was a 3v5 for at least 20 seconds, and Masters 3 were already winning, despite the fact that Dade wasn't even the fight. He didn't have Chaos Storm until the very last second when he dropped it on Nidalee.
Yep, looked like an Annie ultimate there by the end of it, just bursting people down. And M3, in about as dominant fashion as they lost game number 1, stormed through Unlimited Potential to take the split.
We talked about how M3, they were on the rise, they were starting to look more consistent, we were getting a stronger performances, at least back-to-back from Looper and Dade on the backbone of Condi, but I feel like this week, their Super Week is kind of a microcosm for Masters 3 as their career as a team.
Yep, the highest highs and the lowest lows there. That last game was great to watch, but at the end of the week, they draw every single game over the weekend. Of a possible 9 points, the team collects 3, and they'll sit just about where they started the weekend in standings.
I mean, that said, everyone else is splitting, so it's not like they lose any grounds. They're still in perfect playoff position, especially if they want to try to dodge certain seeds to avoid stronger teams down the line. But you have to think Dade did not look very impressed with his performance.
No, I mean, his Azir looked fine. He was trying to make plays, but he couldn't get it all done here. It's a team-wide thing for M3. It's not just enough now to say Dade's good, Looper's good, you know, the bottom lane's fine and Condi's getting better. They need to all play together. That's the one thing that really confused me about game number 2, is that all of a sudden they're playing together. Sure, Condi's on a better champion. That does make a difference, but It feels like they went from completely no team play to nothing but team play. And look at the difference it makes.
No, I completely agree, and it speaks to the strength of the players. Looper is supposedly known for really nice teleport timings. Dade is known for his amazing team fight ability. So it never made sense to me that Masters 3 would just kind of survive the lane phase and then just kind of wander into mid lane or mid-game, late-game team fighting as opposed to just ramping up and getting that as soon as possible.
I agree, and it's looked good there as they do take the split there to finish it all out. M3 will finish a long weekend with only 3 points, but they'll be happy with at least the wins that they got. Don't go too far away there. We're done for the evening, but the next game's going to be absolutely insane as EDG are taking on Snake.